Hi again. Okay, let's continue our series here with the most important concept that is at the foundation of Bitcoin. And there are a couple of concepts that are super important, but this is really the one that I think is senior to all of them. And this concept is called decentralization. There is a great quote that I love that I heard from Mark Moss. And this quote says that the real innovation in blockchain is decentralization. So that's a quote. The real innovation is decentralization. And then blockchain is, we haven't spoken about blockchain yet. So let me tell you just a couple of bits about blockchain. So blockchain is the technology that empowers the Bitcoin network and all the other cryptocurrencies as well. We will also talk briefly about cryptocurrencies and the difference between Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, which is a big difference between Bitcoin and all the other ones. And we'll cover that in another module. So the real innovation is decentralization. What does it mean? It means that without decentralization, the blockchain is not really an effective way to store data and to secure data. So what is decentralization? So decentralization means that something like the Bitcoin network is a network, right? Like a network of computers, like a peer-to-peer computers. And these computers are talking to each other, okay? So you have different type of network structures and network topologies you can have, right? You can have a network that looks like a star, or like a star with where all the points on the outside are connected to each other, okay, like a tennis netting, or that's more like a mesh type of architecture, which is excellent. Or you can have like a network that there are many, but just to simplify this in two types, you can have one network that has one point in the middle with all the spikes going out, right? Like a bicycle wheel with all the spikes out. And if you think about some things like that we use every day, like Google or X or Facebook or this type of services, these are topologically like that. So there is an entity like Google, and then there is all these users on the outside connect to Google, right? And then everybody's getting their information from this logically, okay? Logically speaking, I'm talking about logics now, not like necessarily the topology of the network. And or you can have a different network, like for example, if you remember Napsters or these peer-to-peer type of networks, where again it's like a mesh network. So every node in the network is able to talk with everybody else, and usually every node establish a connection maybe with like 5 or 10 other nodes that are in proximity, or maybe not. You can choose which nodes you want to connect to. And so all these nodes basically can keep in sync independently from any source of authority. And in Bitcoin, we say rules without rulers, which is a very important concept that I heard from Andreas Antonopoulos. Sometimes I am giving you names of people meanwhile I do this video because I want, if you want to follow and connect with Bitcoin OGs and people that are very knowledgeable in this. Like for example, Andrea Antonopoulos, the guy that I heard the quote, rules without rulers, is a real OG. Mark Moss, I'm not sure if it's an OG, like one of the early guys, but Mark Moss is super knowledgeable as well anyway, so I recommend you to connect to both of these guys. I will also share in the comments below, or somewhere near this video, I will share some sources that you can go, like links you can go and plug in. I also have a Telegram feed where I share often information that is created by other creators that I've been following for many years, and these are all creators that are ethical and I personally trust. And then they might or might not have their own stuff to sell on the side, and it's okay, but it took me many years to find. It's like a curated source of material that you can plug in right away. So you're getting your information from sources that are going to help you with useful information, and and you're minimizing the risk to be scammed, or because there is so much. The blockchain industry and the cryptocurrency ecosystem is a very new industry. So as all new industries, is full of opportunity but also of danger, right? So you want to be very careful who you listen to and who you follow in this industry. Okay, let's go back to decentralization. So decentralization means that a system, so there is a network, in the case of Bitcoin, there is a network of computers that are talking to each other, okay, all the time. And they maintain a ledger. So imagine that a ledger is basically like a spreadsheet with, let's say, John sends Mary like 10, okay? Then the next line, Mary sends Paul 5, okay? And so forth. So you have all these lines where it's basically like a financial ledger. And then that looks like a spreadsheet where that all these nodes in the network are keeping up to date, like at the speed of light, communicating to each other. And the beauty of this is that there is no central authority. So there is no government, there is no company, there is no individual, there is no NGO, whatever, no group on the planet that is controlling this, which is a huge improvement because it means that the system is completely neutral. It's completely neutral. So nobody can do, so the system can only do one job and has no agenda to do that job. Okay, it's like a tool. It's neutral. It's neutral. It's like if you have a knife, you can cut a loaf of bread, or you can use it to stab someone. The knife doesn't care. The knife is just a tool. Okay, so Bitcoin is the same. Is a tool, and it has no agenda. There's nothing around it. It just does this job, and it does it very well. And there is nobody that can control it or can mess with it or tamper with it, because all these nodes are basically talking to each other, okay? And to simplify this, if somebody is trying to cheat, they are not allowed to be part of the network, and this also happens automatically. You don't really have to care. It happens through the use of like encryption, military-grade encryption. So it's very powerful and very fast. And in this, imagine that another great important quality of this ledger is that it's an append-only ledger. Append-only means that you can only add to it. You can never go back and change it, never. Because it's the ledger, every time in the blockchain, okay, let's talk a little bit about the blockchain. I'm going to do another video on that, and then we'll continue.